Hey, it's Lauren with Bargain Bead Box. Today we're going to be making an asymmetric triple strand necklace using the May Tropical Heat Bargain Bead Box. This does coordinate nicely with the bracelet we made in our last video. It's a lot of fun for summer. It's a very bold look. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's get started. Okay, so here are the items we're using from the box. We're using our 10-piece oval links, our lobster claw clasps, spacer beads, chain, crackle agate pendant, or focal link. Yours may be a slightly different color than this, lighter or darker, it doesn't matter, they'll all look good. Some crystal bicones, quartz cubes, English cut Malaysian jade quartz, 6mm carnelian, 8mm agate, and 10mm dyed quartz. In addition, I've got a couple basic bindings that I'm using. Fine 2123 from the Bead Box Bargain store. These are crimp beads. Fine 1089 wire guardians as well. Space 1416. These are just our little spacer beads. They're about 3.2 millimeters. And then I'm also going to add some jump rings. I'm using mainly 8mm jump rings with maybe a couple 6mm too. All right, and then I've also got a gold finished tiger tail beading wire. I think this one is 0.45, but 0.38 would be totally fine as well. Whatever you've got. And honestly, if you're using the gold wire guardians, the color of the wire doesn't even matter that much. You'd be fine with the silver tiger tail too. All right, so to get started, I'm gonna cut myself a little piece of tiger tail wire. And it doesn't have to be super duper long. 12 inches should be plenty, but I'm going to give myself a little bit extra to work with, and I'm also here trimming off the end that got a little kinked up. So here's our wire. I'm going to start by getting out the carnelian, bicones, and spacer beads to make the first strand of our necklace. So that will be these items, as well as crimp beads and wire guardians. So let's get everything laid out. Okay, so I'm going to get started here by threading a crimp bead and a wire guardian onto my wire. And let's see, here we go. I'm going to go up and then down again through this wire guardian, leaving just a little bit of a tail to tuck back under that crimp bead here in a moment. I always have the most trouble getting the wire to go back down through the wire guardian. Don't know why that is, but there we are. You just have to get the angle right, and there we go. Now I'm going to push the crimp bead up and over that tail. Gonna hold it kind of snug. I like to squish my wire guardian ends together just a little bit until they touch, because I don't need my loop to be that big and open. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to take my crimping pliers. I'm going to use the first notch closest to the handles there. Use the first notch to squish my crimp bead down into kind of a C shape. And then with the second notch, we're going to fold that C shape in half to hopefully make it look kind of squished and more bead-like. And sometimes I give it a little extra squeeze with the first part again. That looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start stringing. You can, if you want, trim the end of the wire off or put a crimp cover over your crimp, but generally I like to just let my beads cover up the tail. I think the holes in all of the beads I'm using today will be sufficient to cover both cords. So I'm going to do a spacer bead, then a bicone, then a spacer bead, and then I'm going to do 3 carnelian rounds. Now, depending on the color of your link, you can choose whether you want to emphasize the lighter carnelian or darker carnelian rounds. My link in this bag that I grabbed is a little on the darker side, so you've got plenty of beads on your strand, you're not going to need them all. I'm going to be using more of the darker carnelian and probably avoiding some of these like really light beads. I probably won't use that one. But if my link was lighter, I would want to use the whiter, lighter beads. So just something to keep in mind to help your link coordinate with the rest of your piece. They do vary a whole lot. I just grabbed a bag at random here, and it had a darker one in it. So I'm going to just repeat this pattern probably at least 6 times. So we're just going to string spacer bead, bicone, spacer bead, and then 3 carnelian rounds. This will be our first and shortest strand. And we're going to kind of graduate in color and size in this necklace. So again, just 3 carnelian beads. And this one's a little lighter, but I'll use it anyway. So I get asked a lot if, when I'm curating boxes, if I have a design in mind. And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is I just liked the pretty things, so I put them together. But in this case, this is very much a piece that at least the style is something that I wanted to make. I was thinking of when I chose the gemstone links and the oval links. I thought it would be fun to make a multi-strand, really bold necklace with them. I don't always wear really bold jewelry, but I'm always surprised by how fun it is. Because generally I'm like, oh, that's way out of my comfort zone and it'll look terrible on me. It's not the right colors. Then I put it on and I'm like, you know what? I can pull this off. Kind of like it. So this one I was putting together and I was just like, oh boy, I don't know. It's kind of a lot. But then I put it on and looked in the mirror and I was like, you know what? I think I can do it. I actually really love this necklace. It is very summery. And I think the orange and the reds work together to sort of calm each other down a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do at least 2 more segments here. I also like all the gold, and I think it helps tone down some of the wild reds a little. And to be honest, I really like the bold reds too. And that's kind of the fun and the challenge of trying to curate boxes, is I can't just send the neutral colors or fall colors I love every single month. Y'all would get really tired of that, and it would not do so well. So trying to mix it up, also depending on what kind of deals I can find. This carnelian, for example, was a really great deal. And then the gemstone links, you know, it depends what is being offered at closeout or overstock prices each month. I always love putting the boxes together. All right, I think this will probably be long enough once I add the spacer bead, bicone spacer bead on the other end. I'm going for a more dramatic difference in strand lengths than I've done in some of my multi-strand pieces in the past, because this necklace is, quite frankly, all about the drama. So here we go. I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off now with a crimp bead and another wire guardian. So crimp bead first, then my wire guardian, up. And this is always the trickiest part for me, is getting it to go back down nicely and then through the crimp bead nicely. Haha, look at that. And then I don't want it to like kink. Tiger tail likes to do that. And it's because sometimes if you pull it too hard, too far from the crimp bead, it can be very difficult to convince it that you actually want it a little closer to that crimp bead. So I try to be a little gentle when I'm pulling that in. Alright, once again, I'm going to just squeeze that a little teeny tiny bit tighter and leave just enough space for me to get these pliers in while maintaining tension on the cord. I'm going to go ahead and again squeeze in that first notch to make my little C shape, and then squish it in that second notch. Let's see if we can do this without, yeah, there we go. The trick is to grab the crimp bead and not the wire guardian. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to take my little flush cutters here and just cut like as close to that crimp bead as I can get it. And I am happy with that. All right, there's our first strand. So just so I can kind of keep an eye on how the strand differences are hanging, like what it's going to look like, I'm going to go ahead and attach my agate link here, as well as one of my oval links to the other end. And I'm going to use an 8mm jump ring to do both those things because we are going to have 3 strands on this jump ring. It's going to need to be kind of big so that they don't get too bunched up. Also, these links are quite wide as well. Get my little handy jump ring tool. Thank you for that, computer. Appreciate your input. What is it doing? Hannah's going to see what our computer wants. Not even sure what that is. Alright. Hopefully we've satisfied it. Alright, so I'm putting this link on the jump ring here. And I'm just going to do the same thing on this end with my little oval. And now we'll move on to the second strand of this design. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the crimp bead and wire guardian and get another strand ready for stringing, and then we'll make our second strand. Okay, so I've got another wire guardian and crimp bead ready to go on the end of this piece of tiger tail, and again you want about 12 inches. It's going to be a little longer than our last piece here. So the first thing I'm going to do is use one of our 8mm quartz cubes. These are the ones I had left over from the bracelet. I do try to make sure when I make any coordinating pieces especially that you're going to have enough materials in one shipment to do them both. So you should have plenty of quartz cubes left for this piece as well. Even if you have a bigger wrist than mine, and hopefully a more functional wrist than mine, you should still have, you're only going to need like probably 6 cubes for this bracelet. So then I'm going to do 3 of our English cut faceted round quartz beads. I meant 6 for this necklace. Yeah, so even if you used extra for your bracelet to give it extra length, you should still have plenty left for this necklace. Is what I was trying to put my words together into there. But yes, I'm just going to be doing a similar pattern to our last strand. It's going to be spacer bead, quartz cube, spacer bead, followed by 3 of the English cut rounds. So I'm just going to do that again. Probably, I did 6 patterns of the last strand, so I will probably do 6 of these as well, because your 8mm beads are going to be much larger in size and should give us more length than the 6mm carnelian on the last strand that we did. Oh goodness, hope you've been having a good week so far. It's been an interesting week at our house. My husband was putting up a new light fixture on the porch and our ladder broke. His foot got caught in it and he didn't fall very far. He wasn't very high up, but it did twist his knee really nicely. So he gets to meet with the surgeon tomorrow and find out if he needs surgery to repair his PCL. So fun times, but this too shall pass. It's just meant that I've had to kind of be like, no, you really do have to rest. He usually does so many things every day, which I certainly appreciate. And our kiddo's about to finish kindergarten, which is absolutely crazy to me. It really does go so fast. It's so fun to watch, learn to read, and she's so smart. It's just a joy to see. So yeah, lots of big feelings and happenings in our house this week. Is it just me, or is May always a crazy, crazy month? So many graduations and weddings, which are wonderful. And then so many school events and lots of stuff going on this month. It's been busy. Good, but very busy. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a good length. I'm going to go ahead and add one more cube on the end here. Here we are. And yeah, I want it to be about 1.5 inches longer. I think that's going to do nicely, give it some good drape. So now I'm just going to finish it off with a crimp bead and a wire guardian. And then we'll add it to our jump rings. Maybe I'll wait and do the third strand and add them at the same time. That seems like a logical thing to do. Just get to play with this here. This is the part I struggle with. Alright, gotta hold the crimp bead and try to pull the tiger tail close enough that it looks decent, but leave enough space for the crimping pliers. Crimping pliers. I couldn't decide whether to say crimpers or pliers there. Okay. Nope, I squeezed them too hard. I get to, yeah, settle those out a little bit. And I always like to leave a little tiny bit of space as well with tiger tail, just so it doesn't, you're not pulled so tight that your beads are like on top of each other. Okay, so then once again, I'm going to use the inside of the pliers to squish the crimp bead and the outside of the pliers to form it into a little bead shape. Yay. Worked pretty well. Now we've just got to trim that end off. And we're done. On to strand number 3. Time to cut another piece of wire. This time I'm going to cut it a little bit longer. Probably about 14 inches, just because I like to have some extra length to play with. And then I'm going to stick another wire guardian and crimp bead on it. Okay, so now I've got my 8mm crackle agate, my 10mm quartz, and my rondelle spacer beads from the box. And I'm going to start the final strand. I may actually, this wasn't in my plan, but I think it'll look nice. I may actually throw a bead cap on the end as well, using the star-shaped bead caps that came in the box. So I'm going to start, I've already put my wire guardian and crimp bead on the end here. I'm going to start with a spacer bead and then a bead cap. And now I'm going to do 3 agate rounds. And again, you can kind of tailor your choice of colors off of these kind of varied strands to the color of your crackle agate link as much as possible. Mine is a really, really deep dark red this time. So I'm going to be going with the most vivid agate rounds I can find. But if you've got kind of a more light shade, you could go for the clearer ones, you know, and just pick which ones work best with your necklace. I'm going to do a spacer bead now, the bigger rondelles, and I'm going to do a 10mm round and another spacer bead. And again, we're kind of echoing the pattern we used on the previous strands. We're just going to go ahead and do that probably 6 more times. We're using 8mm beads like we did on the last strand, but we've just got a 10mm in between them. So I think we're going to need an extra pattern repetition, or at least, yeah, an extra pattern repetition will give us that length we're looking for and really create that drama. And also, doing an even number of 10mm rounds will mean that it's not, you don't have one perfectly in the center of the strand, which is actually going to work out really well for the way this necklace hangs. Because it is asymmetric, I'll show you what I mean when it's finished. This is not a difficult strand to make. It goes very quickly. I love crackle agate, all the different patterns. It's just so fun. Very dramatic. And this necklace is nothing if not dramatic. My 6-year-old told me she's going to steal it, so it has her stamp of approval, which is how you know it's dramatic. She is so funny. I was a shy, quiet, calm kid. My husband and I are both introverts, and somehow we created the most extroverted little person I have ever met in my life. She is so much, and it's so much fun. And I've already promised her she can have my leftover pieces to make her own necklace, so we'll see how that comes out. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be my last 10 millimeter round. And then my last 3 round beads. I'm going to go ahead and finish this strand off, and then we can start assembling our necklace. So we'll just do another crimp bead and wire guardian here. This is definitely the heaviest strand of the 3, but even so, it's largely 8 millimeter. And I was surprised when you wear this necklace, because of how large the links are and everything. It does lay very nicely, and it doesn't actually feel that heavy when it's on. So I was honestly a little scared of it. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of a lot more. I usually wear very delicate jewelry, so it's a departure for me, but I kind of loved it. Oh wait, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put my bead cap on the end here. Yep, that was a last minute decision on the other side, but I almost forgot on this side. So yeah, one more bead cap, one more round. Make it match, and now we'll do it. Yay. I love when I catch things before they almost go badly wrong. It's a lot easier to take the wire guardian off the strand than it is to do that after you've crimped the crimp bead. At that point, it would have been a restring, and I would have been very irritated with myself. Or I would have just had a necklace with a bead cap on one side, which, if I wasn't making it in front of you guys, is probably what would have happened. All right. There we go. Now we've got our nice little finished bits on the end. I do like the bead cap on this strand. It makes it a little extra fancy. And now I'm going to try to gently grab just the bead cap. Or not the bead cap, the crimp bead. You know, the thing that needs to get squished. That thing. And squish it. And shape it. And now all I have to do is get my flush cutters and trim that little wire down. And if it ever looks a little bit iffy, I'll try to stick it in my spacer bead there, if there's any little pokey bits left. Okay, so now we're going to assemble this necklace. I'm going to move some beads out of the way, get my jump rings out and our oval links, and we'll get started. Okay, so here we have all of our strands to assemble, and I do think that this is going to drape nicely. I like the differences in length. I think you've got a pretty uniform gap between all 3 strands. Should be good. So I'm going to start by opening up this jump ring here, and we'll just string on the other 2 strands. And we'll do them kind of in order. There we go. And then we'll close it up. Here we go. Okie doke. And now I'm going to repeat that on this side, and I'm going to try to keep an eye on the order. Let's try not to flip it around too much. Try to make sure that they, I knew that was going to happen. Knew I didn't have good grip. There we go. So we're going to try to match the order they're on here so that they lay nicely. So pink one next, then the red one, and I'm going to put the link on this side if I can. Well, it doesn't really matter. There we go. Okay. All right, good deal. So the way that this necklace is going to hang is you're going to have this side about even here, so that it is actually going to put this 10 millimeter round here right in the middle, because it's going to you're going to have the link on this side making up a good bit of the length. So I think that works out pretty well. I like the differences in length between the strands. And now we're going to add the rest of our links. I'm going to save 2 of them because I think I'm going to make some earrings with them later. And I'm just going to do 3 more on this side and 4 on this side and just link them all together. I'm going to be using 8 millimeter rings to do that, and we'll just kind of go down the line, open them all up, and link them all up. And after that, we'll use some chain and the clasp to finish it off, and we'll be done. I really like the bold links on the end of this necklace. When you've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of drama with your strands, you really want, you know, it wouldn't look right just to do what I sometimes do and end it with like a doubled up chain or something. The links continue the drama and kind of temper the bright colors with some gold, which I appreciate. All right. And I like the 8 millimeter jump rings because they leave plenty of room for the links to move around without being squished. You get good motion. It just works out well. And then we'll just have to do the 4 on the other side. Yeah, this necklace really does come together pretty quickly, considering how much of a statement it makes. It's a lot of fun. I kind of want to make one with a lighter link too. I think that would be really, really pretty. The ones in the bags that I grabbed to take home with me were both dark. So I usually make like a concept prototype the day before. And in this case, that's the necklace I was wearing at the beginning of the video. And yeah, I was really hoping I would have a lighter link to work with in the second bag, but I didn't think ahead and check. And honestly, I love the red. Like, don't get me wrong, this one matches it really well. But I just want to let you know the lighter links look really pretty too. So whichever you have, it should work out great. And especially, we've got the triple strand bracelet that we made last week, so if you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to check it out. It uses the yellow quartz link, so you're not trying to match exactly the link color. All that to say, it's a really flexible design. You can also make it longer or shorter if you so choose, an easy way to do that, and not have to worry about like the drape ratios, which I played with a lot yesterday to try to figure out how I liked. You can just add any amount of chain to the back of it that you like, which was what we are just about to do here. I'm going to put one more 8 millimeter ring on the other side here. Well, actually, trying to think. Use my brain to think about what side I want it to clip onto. So if I'm using, I might do it this side just to make it easier because I'm right-handed. And I always forget to think about that. Let's see. Ooh, Didn't mean to throw those down quite so violently there. Okay. All right, so this one, I'm going to add an extra 8mm link to this side because this is going to be basically my other clasp half. So I'm going to take our chain here. I'm going to cut a piece and double it up. And I'm basically just going to add a little chain segment to the end here with one of our clasps. If I can find where I hid those, here they are. We'll add the clasp over on this side. So this chain is very sturdy, but it is also like soldered shut. So I'm going to have to cut the link to get it to open. I'm going to do about probably a 3 or 4 inch segment, and I'm going to double it over just because I think that, again, we're going for drama. It creates a little more drama. And this is the point at which you can kind of hold it up and play around with it and see how long you want it to be. I'm just going to go for it here. I think I want it to be about that long. So I'm going to get my wire cutters and I'm just going to snip, link, and break it to get this apart. And now I'm going to cut it into 2 even pieces by stringing both ends on a piece of scrap wire here, just so I can tell where I need to cut it. All right, so now I need to cut this link off, and then I will have 2 even pieces. All right, I'm going to take an 8mm jump ring on this end and attach both those pieces to my last oval link on this side. Here we go. 1, 2. I just got to close this link up. And then all we have to do, I'm going to open this because I'm not actually using this tiny jump ring that it comes with, and make sure that it can go around. Yeah, it has no trouble with that. All right, so now I'm just going to find my other 2 ends of this chain, and I'm going to connect them to this jump ring. I'm going to use a 6mm jump ring to do that, just because I don't feel like messing with a tiny one at its base. All right, so this one, and then this one, trying not to get them tangled or twisted here. Then our clasp, and then we are finished. So then essentially, this will be around the back of the neck. You can come over here and clip your clasp onto this jump ring. And there you have it. There is your triple strand tropical heat necklace with your agate link and your asymmetric rounds here. And then you've got this series of oval links on both sides and chain at the back. I hope you've enjoyed watching this project. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I always have a lot of fun making these, and I love reading all your comments. I would love to see what you made with your shipment. If you made something else with your bargain bead box, please feel free to join our Creative Corner Facebook group. Just make sure to answer the membership questions or the bot will auto decline it. So if that happens, just know, answer all the questions and we'll approve it. But we would love to have you come join us, see what all our other amazingly talented beaders have created, and share with us what you made. That's honestly one of my favorite things each month, is seeing what our incredible community of beaders comes up with. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We will have some more tutorials. I'll probably make some earrings to match this, plus our creative corner, and a June sneak peek coming up soon too. So thanks again for being here and for making Bargain Bead Box possible. Thank you to all of our members. And happy beading, everyone.